Hello everyone. This video is about comparing some of the best low-profile mechanical keyboards on the market as of January 2023 in order to decide whether or not it's worthwhile for me to upgrade from my tried and true Logitech G915, which I've been using since 2021. Now there's a whole host of keyboards that can fit many people's different lifestyles and needs. So kind of like mice, keyboards ultimately comes down to personal preference on what you need at the time. So before we get into the studies, I thought it'd be worthwhile to give a little bit of information as to my background and what I'm looking for in a keyboard. So I have a lot of experiences with keyboards. Before 2018 I used several different standard mechanical keyboards, but then I started getting some discomfort in my wrists. So I started to look into a different setup. For typing, I switched over to ergonomic keyboards. I use a Microsoft Sculpt and the Logitech K860 from 2018 to 2020. At the same time, for gaming purposes, I switched from using the standard mechanical keyboards to using a mechanical keypad. I got the Razer Orb Weaver first, and I really like that setup. So now, since then, I've moved over to the Razer Deathstalker V2. So when I'm playing, this is the setup that I use. It's extremely comfortable, and I just can't go back to playing on keyboards. But for typing, I switched over to the ergonomic keyboards, as I mentioned. I really missed the comfort and the feel of a mechanical keyboard, so I wanted to see what other options were there, and after doing some research, I decided to try a low profile mechanical keyboard. I got the Logitech G915, which I have here, and I just really like how this felt and how I could type on these keyboards. In fact, I like it so much that I bought 3 of these, one for home, one for work, and another one that I gifted. What else? I also generally prefer the TKL form factor because there's less of a space when I need to switch over to a mouse. I do like working with numpads, as I do a lot of work on spreadsheets as well, so I'll just have a separate numpad here whenever I need to use that. That's my preferred setup. So why would you be interested in a low profile keyboard? Well, I think it strikes a nice balance between the standard mechanical keyboards and the chiclet membrane keyboards. So compared to the standard mechanical keyboards, there's much less finger travel distance each time that you press the keys, and that leads just to a more ergonomic keyboard. It feels more responsive, and I generally can type faster on a low profile mechanical keyboard. And compared to the chiclet and membrane keyboards, on which I can type really fast, these low profile mechanical keyboards feel a lot more comfortable. You do get that mechanical feel, and so they also feel more tactile and more responsive. What am I looking for in a low profile keyboard if I were to buy one? Well, in my situation right now, I'm looking for more of an end game kind of keyboard. That's always that's just a relative term, right? I'm just looking for the best that I can get for me right now. So I'm looking for highest quality keyboards. I have a separate gaming setup, so I'm not that focused on getting a keyboard for gaming now. So productivity first. I have a laptop, and my home personal computer, so I need to be able to seamlessly switch between multiple devices, at least 2. I need a really comfortable keyboard that's fast for me to type, and finally I also need it to work out right out of the box because I'm not interested in custom builds or mods. So today we're going to see how some of these low profile mechanical keyboards in the market compare to my beautiful Logitech G915. But this is a tactile version. A bit more information on this. It was released in 2019, and because of the competition, I suppose, Now you can buy it at a discounted price. Today it's $186 on Amazon. And we'll be pitting this keyboard against a few. Got the Deathstalker V2 Pro from Razer, which you can see from the picture is designed like a competitor against the G915. This one was released in 2022, and you can buy the TKL version on Amazon at $220. This one's in linear switches. They don't offer the tactile version. And we're also going to be looking at the Mx Mechanical Mini from Logitech as well. So this was released in 2022, and you can find this mini version for $150. This one is in tactile switches, but they also offer it in clicking and in linear. And just for the fun of it, we're also going to try it out against the membrane version, the Mx Keys Mini, just to have a head-to-head comparison between this keyboard and the mechanical version. Okay, so I've gone on and unboxed all of this. Unboxing experience was great. I've got them all connected to my computer. I had no issues connecting them. Now I should point out, this is not going to be a review of each one of the units. There are many reviews in YouTube. If you're interested in knowing all of the specific features that each one of these have, definitely check out the YouTube reviews. Now, on the topic of build quality, all of this just seem really well built. I have no issues with the build of any of these. They just seem really high quality keyboards, as you would expect. If anything, my G915 seems like it has the most questionable quality because of the way the switches are different. In this one, you can see all of my keys kind of wobble, and that threw me off at first when I was learning how to use this keyboard. And in fact, you can even hear the keys rattle if I were to shake it. Now, the Razer Deathstalker V2 Pro, the competitor, which takes a lot of inspiration from the G915, has a different design for the switches. So all of the keys are firmly in place, and if I shake this, you don't really hear that rattle that we have on the G915. Now there is an issue with the spacebar key. If you can hear, the sound profile changes as I type towards the left. I don't know exactly why that is, but if you are a keyboard expert, feel free to comment and let us know. Okay, it's time to test the keyboards. What we're going to do is, for each keyboard, we're going to have 2 to 4 minutes of acclimation period, followed by 4 1-minute tests on English in monkey type. Then we're going to average out the results, and yeah, we'll discuss them. Logitech G915 tactile. Razer Deathstalker V2 linear switches. Logitech Mx Mechanical tactile switches. Mx Keys. Okay, the results are in. Let's talk about them. So first, I want to say in day one, all of the mechanical keyboards perform quite similarly, with the membrane keyboard being a bit slower. That was unsurprising because I'm just used to typing in low profile mechanical keyboards. However, what was surprising was that I was most inconsistent with my daily driver, the G915, as is shown by the higher value in the standard deviation. And the second surprise was that even it was the first time that I was using the Deathstalker V2 and the Mx Mechanical keyboards, I performed really well, on par with my daily driver. So I decided to see what would happen if I repeated the test on the next day. So that's what I did. On day 2 you can see the numbers recorded, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. I got much faster with all of the keyboards, but this became accentuated with the Stalker V2 being much faster than my typing speed with the G915. I was also faster with the Mx Mechanical. The Mx Keys, I was also faster there, but I just did not enjoy typing on the membrane keyboard. I admit it's a really great keyboard, but it's just not for me. so I just put the keyboard away. So again, the G915, my daily driver, I was the most inconsistent with that keyboard. You can see it as well in the standard deviation. I think that's because of the wobbly key. Sometimes if I don't hit the key right, it can throw me off. So next I want to talk about the comfort and the sound. In terms of typing experience, I enjoy typing the most in the Deathstalker V2 Pro. The keys are extremely light and very responsive. It feels like I am like typing in the cloud, so to say. The keys in the Mx Mechanical also feel pretty good, but they're much heavier to press. Now, I know that there's some of it has to do with the actuation force, since the switches are different. But there's also a difference in the switch type, with the Deathstalker V2 being linear switches versus the tactile switches in my Mx Mechanical. So I have ordered an Mx Mechanical in linear switches, and I will test that one in another video. In terms of the sound, the Deathstalker V2 Pro and the Mx Mechanical sound very, very, very different. So you can see that. Hopefully that's captured well in the audio tests. The Deathstalker V2 Pro is extremely quiet. It's going to be great for an office setup. And the Mx Mechanical has this thuggy sound while not being too loud. So sound is preference. Personally, I enjoy very quiet keyboards, and I also I'm planning on buying a keyboard for the office. So I appreciate just having a quiet keyboard. But that's a preference. If you enjoy listening to thuggy sounds on the keyboard, maybe you enjoy that. Maybe the Mx Mechanical is better for you sound wise. So now I consider both this Mx Mechanical keyboard and the Deathstalker V2 as excellent low profile mechanical keyboards, and I see them as much better keyboards for me compared to my G915. So I will definitely upgrade to one of these, but it is still very difficult to me to make a choice. So I had to look at some other factors. First, I look into the connection time, which is if I have the keyboard turned off and I turn it on, how much time does it take to pair by Bluetooth to my computer, and that was roughly the same, 2 seconds for each. However, what was very different was the wake up time. So if I step away from my computer and then come back and the keyboard's sleeping, right, the Mx Mechanical responded immediately. It was 1 second or less. I just couldn't measure it, but it was about 1 second. So it has a very efficient wake up mechanism. Even when I just hover my hand over the keyboard, as you can see here, the lighting already, the backlight turns on. It's extremely responsive. And the Deathstalker V2 has nothing like that. You actually have to press the keyboard for it to start registering. And in one test, it took up to 5 seconds from the moment that I wake up the keyboard until it starts registering keys in my computer. So that can definitely be frustrating, and that side at the Mx Mechanical has some significant advantages. Now I want to talk about looks. So looks, again, is another that is really depends on the individual and their preferences. Personally, I enjoy the looks of the Mx Mechanical much more compared to the Deathstalker V2. I like the color pattern that it has. It looks very elegant and really pops out. However, the Deathstalker V2, design wise, it looks exactly like the G915. It doesn't have any salient features, no color scheme like on the Mx Mechanical. However, if you are a fan of RGB, then maybe you do prefer the Deathstalker V2 for the RGB. So I'm not too into that. I prefer the much more elegant design of the Mx Mechanical. I also am a big fan of the Mx Mechanical 75% form factor, which is inspired on the Keychron K3, and I generally prefer this more compact approach. There's less travel distance for me to go to any of these additional keys as well as the function row. So I prefer this more compact layout versus the Deathstalker V2, more spread out layout, which is the same that's also seen in the G915. And finally, the last extra point is that the Mx Mechanical is significantly cheaper. As of January 2023, about $70 cheaper compared to the Deathstalker V2. Okay, so in summary, I compared the Deathstalker V2 Pro and the Mx Mechanical keyboard to my G915, and I found both of them to be really excellent, superb, low-profile keyboards. I think that both are much better than my G915 for me, and I would upgrade to either one of them. I still don't know which one I would upgrade. They both have areas where they excel. I prefer the typing experience of the Deathstalker V2 Pro much more, since the keys are just so light to press. In contrast, I prefer the Mx Mechanical wake up time and mechanism, the looks, and the form factor, plus it's $70 cheaper. It's only subjective. I prefer quiet keys, but you know, the Mx Mechanical has a really nice pleasant sound profile, so that's nice too. So I still have to rule out whether the typing experience has to do with the switch type, since this one is in linear and this one's in tactile. I have ordered the Mx Mechanical keyboard on linear switches, so I'll do a follow-up video. But if the typing experience becomes anywhere near close to the Deathstalker V2, then for me, then it will be a no-brainer at that point that I would upgrade to the Mx Mechanical keyboard with a linear switch. Okay, so that's it for the video. I hope that you find it informative and it helps you decide amongst these excellent low-profile mechanical keyboards. Have a great day.